Hello viewers, you're welcome to Smart Student Academy. This is your channel if you are a student aiming at scoring straight A's in your final examination. This is the arena for champions who will settle for nothing less than pure academic excellence. Please come with us as we show you the strategies you need to achieve your academic ambitions. Today's topic of discussion is centered on real-life stories that motivate students to learn, number 2. I say number 2 because this is the second of 2 videos on the same topic. The first video is entitled, Using Storytelling to Motivate Students to Learn, number 1. Both videos combined together help to explain how storytelling can be a mindset and motivation booster to help students obtain straight A's in their exams. This second video is addressed to both students and teachers, and the stories are typical of the type that have the capacity to capture and retain the attention and interest of students, as you will probably experience it as you listen to the stories here now. Hit the subscribe button and let us move on. Because these are stories, please, I want you to really listen attentively and follow me as I give you the narration. Story number 1. From last to first, the story of Tunde. Tunde was an average student in a crowded public school. He never topped the class. In fact, during his SS1 and SS2 terms, his average grade hovered between 50% and 60%. He was labeled by others slow, even mocked by some. But something changed in the first week of SS3. His class teacher shared the story of a former student who transformed his life in just few months by changing his mindset. That night, Tunde sat alone and said to himself, "Why not me? Why can't I change too?" He wrote down his goals that night. I will get straight A's in my WAEC. He then developed a study timetable and started waking up by 4:30 a.m. daily to revise. He formed a study group, reduced his time on football, and sought help from teachers after class. He also started keeping a journal to reflect on his daily performance. He cut off all distractions and avoided all negative talks from friends. These things Tunde started doing were some of the things the former student whose story the teacher shared with them in the class was doing as well, which made him successful. Tunde simply copied them and added his own. On the day of his WAEC exam, Tunde felt confident. Months later, when the results were released, he scored 9 A's. From the bottom of the class to the top, wow, he rewrote his story by changing his mindset. Let's look at some closing highlights from that short story. Today's transformation was driven by belief, planning, and consistent effort. He removed distractions and took ownership of his future. He sought help and surrounded himself with the right peers. What are the lessons we can learn from here? 1. It's never too late to turn your academic dreams around. 2. Your background does not determine your outcome. 3. A clear goal and consistent action lead to great results. 4. Self-belief is the first step towards success. Now, without wasting much time, let's go to story number 2. I believe you have learned something from that first story. Story number 2. The girl who defeated fear, Amina's journey. Amina was brilliant but paralyzed by fear. Every time an exam approached, our hearts will pound and race. Our palms will sweat and our mind will freeze. She failed her first mock exam in SS3 due to panic attacks. One day, our English teacher noticed her distress and gave her a book on mindset. Amina read it and learned that fear comes from a belief that we are not enough. She started practicing affirmations daily, like, I am prepared, I am smart, I can succeed, I will make it. She began visualizing herself walking confidently into the exam hall and answering questions calmly. She also practiced breathing exercises and timed past questions at home. By the time WAEC came, Amina walked in with a smile. She remembered her affirmations. She breathed in deeply. She focused. She conquered. Our final result, 8 A's and 1 B. Wonderful. Here are some closing highlights based on this story. 1. Fear can be overcome by mental reprogramming. 2. Preparing emotionally is just as important as studying. Belief and calmness sharpen performance. What lesson can we learn from that story? Number 1, fear is normal, but it can be managed. 2, you can train your brain to stay calm under exam pressure. 3, affirmations and preparation change your inner world. And 4, believe in yourself is your best weapon in conquering exams. Now, let's push on by diving into the third story. Story number 3, the orphan who became a scholar, Michael's story. Michael lost both parents before he turned 12 years old. He lived with an aunt who could barely afford the school fees. He studied under candlelight, wore torn uniforms, and sometimes went to school hungry. But Michael had a fire inside him. He would say, if I give up, I shall remain here forever. He borrowed textbooks, watched cars on weekends to afford notebooks, and used free resources from a local church library. He listened attentively in class and asked questions fearlessly. His teachers noticed him. When WAEC approached, he had only one goal: to pass excellently and get a scholarship. He studied relentlessly. Here is the outcome. He scored 9 A's when the results was released. The state government awarded him a full university scholarship, and today, Michael is a final year medical student. Now, here are some closing highlights based on these stories. Circumstances are not excuses. Take note. Determination can crush poverty. Hard work, resourcefulness, and faith open doors. Now let's look at lesson learned. Number 1, it's not where you start that matters, it's how you finish. Number 2, you don't need perfect conditions to achieve great things. Number 3, resourcefulness and grit beat excuses any day. Number 4, dreams are free. Fight for yours. Now, let's dive into story number 4. I believe you have learned something from that story number 3. Now, let's dive in to story number 4. The boy who failed, then won. Dio's turnaround. Dio was always the joker of the class. He had repeated SS2 once and didn't seem to care. Everyone wrote him off, including himself. One day, his elder brother returned from NYSC and sat him down. He told Dio, "You can laugh now, or you can laugh later. But if you want to succeed, it starts with a choice." Dio listened. That night, he looked in the mirror and said, "I am better than this." He changed his friends. He started visiting the library. He sought mentorship. He stopped pretending not to care. Slowly, his grades improved. He practiced several smart study techniques and applied them vigorously. He wrote WAEC with a clear mind, not to impress others, but to prove to himself that he could change. You know the result? He scored 7 A's and 2 B's. That was the first time Dio ever passed all his subjects in one sitting. What a change. On this story, here are some closing highlights. A decision backed by positive action can change your story forever. Past failures do not define your future. Real growth begins when you take responsibility. What are the lessons we can learn from this story? 1, don't wait to hit the rock bottom before changing. It might be too late then. Start now. 2, you can rewrite your academic story. Yes, you can. 3, own your life. Stop blaming others. And 4, self-awareness is the beginning of transformation. My final notes to teachers: use these stories or similar stories purposefully. After each one, ask students what they feel while listening. What can you apply from this story to your life? These 2 questions will make them talk. Then you will know whether they have learned something or not. Encourage discussion in your class. You know why? Storytelling is not just about entertainment, it sparks. Use it to light the fire within your students to go for nothing less than excellence. Before we draw the curtain on this discussion, please hit the subscribe and like buttons and share the link with your colleagues and friends. Be your brother's keeper. Be free to explore this channel for other topics like this. We have many of them for your benefit. Please check them, use them. We keep uploading new ones by the grace of God. As a teacher, you are now fully equipped to fire up your students with purpose-driven storytelling. Read biographies of successful people who once struggled with known challenges. Summarize their stories and bring it to class to motivate your students. Do your homework well by identifying the challenges each person faces in the different stories you read and the strategies they apply to overcome. List them down. Use the stories to challenge your students that they too can overcome like those other people did. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you, and bye for now.